Here's more wrestling news for August 20th, 2022. And we're kicking off this afternoon with AEW as CM Punk had a lot to say this week. Going off script to bury Hangman Adam Page, who he knew wouldn't be on the show, it's been reported that the reigning AEW World Champion had been difficult backstage as well, with some in the company believing he could quit. It turns out that Punk isn't the only issue behind the scenes, as in the Wrestling Observer, Dave Meltzer reports that a ton of backstage drama involving many of the top guys that has gotten much worse in recent weeks. Meltzer suggested that Tony Khan may have no other choice than to organize a sit-down meeting with everyone to air everything out before things get any worse, adding, "It feels like a number of people are close to their breaking point if things don't get settled." Meltzer didn't name which stars are close to their breaking points, but there are some educated guesses that can be made. In recent weeks, we've seen both Miro and Andrade El Idolo like tweets claiming they had things better when working for WWE, and between that, Punk's actions this week, and more tension with top guys backstage, the honeymoon period is truly over for Tony Khan. One name who AEW fans haven't seen in a while is MJF, who cut a scathing promo on the company in June based off his many real-life grievances with the company, and it culminated with him begging Tony Khan to fire him. Khan didn't fire MJF, but he did pull the salt of the earth from all programming and promotional material, and there's been no word of MJF on TV for months. Now, though, it appears that cooler heads have prevailed, as the Wrestling Observer newsletter reports that MJF isn't just expected back, but he's expected back on TV soon. The report adds that negotiations for a new AEW TV deal are set to begin within a couple of months, so the company is wanting to boost its TV ratings with its biggest stars, including MJF. After ratings took a dip due to several stars being out with injuries, including CM Punk, Kenny Omega, and Bryan Danielson, it'll be all hands on deck for AEW to be as popular as possible ahead of negotiations. There's no exact confirmation on how soon MJF will be returning, but with a huge title unification match set for next week's Dynamite, we could be mere days away from an impactful return in the main event scene by MJF. Now, WWE has been part of more than its fair share of lawsuits and has been dealing with a suit from a cyclist for some time now. Cyclist Jackson Parsons is suing WWE after his bicycle collided with a WWE van in Tampa back in July 2019, and there's been an update in the case. According to PW Insider, the Florida Middle District Court will hear the trial on February 6, 2023, nearly 2 years after Parsons filed the suit. Parsons alleges that WWE bears responsibility as a WWE employee, Gaten Thomas, was driving the van at the time, though WWE's legal filings have described Thomas as an independent contract at the time of the incident. Parsons has claimed that the accident left him with physical injuries, pain and suffering, disability, and the inability and loss of the capacity to lead and enjoy a normal life, inconvenience, disfigurement, scarring, and mental anguish. We'll keep following this case for further updates. Smackdown news now, as this week's show aired from Montreal, Quebec, Canada, the hometown of Sami Zayn. The former Intercontinental and NXT champion was certainly a focal point of the show, and that didn't end when the cameras stopped rolling. After the show, Zayn and the crowd were surprised by an appearance from Kevin Owens, and the two had some fun in the ring. At first, Owens said that Zayn is too good to be, quote, anybody's bitch, referencing Sami's program with Roman Reigns, and claimed he'd only take it back when Zayn gets his balls back. At one point, Raw's Riddle made an appearance trying to get the two to hug, which the friends/occasional rivals eventually, albeit reluctantly, did. Slightly breaking kayfabe, Owens spoke about his real-life friendship with Zayn and how it was Zayn who convinced him to join WWE, earning a "thank you, Sami" from the crowd. It was certainly a feel-good segment to send the crowd home happy, and judging by how things are playing out on TV, we might not have to wait much longer to see Owens and Zayn on the same page in front of the camera. Now, WWE is always on the hunt for terms that they can trademark, and now a new phrase is going to be used by the company. Fightful reports that WWE filed a trademark for the term damage control, and that the filing was made earlier this week on August 16th. There's no clear word on what the trademark will be used for, as the filing covers the standard aspects of a WWE trademark filing. Whatever it is, WWE now has the rights to the term damage control in pro wrestling, so we'll have to see what they use it for. Over to Clash at the Castle now, as the card for the September 3rd event is coming together, and we'll see an incredibly physical Intercontinental Championship match. On this week's Smackdown, a fatal 5-way between Happy Corbin, Sheamus, Sami Zayn, Madcap Moss, and Ricochet was made to determine the challenger, and it was the Irishman who got the win. Now Sheamus will compete for the Intercontinental title against Gunther in what will be the first title defense at a premium live event since WrestleMania 27. If Sheamus wins the title in Cardiff, he will also complete the Grand Slam, a journey he began back in December 2009 with his WWE title win over John Cena, but don't expect Gunther to make this easier next month. For much of his time running WWE, Vince McMahon demanded that the promos for superstars be written word for word and recited by the talent on screen. These scripted promos have often been hated by fans who believe that they come across as flat and uninspired, especially compared to the unscripted promos of years prior. This week, former WWE writer Brian Gewirtz discussed the practice of scripted promos and explained that one of wrestling's greatest ever talkers inadvertently led McMahon banning unscripted promos. There might have been an incident at Madison Square Garden once when Ric Flair went off script that got Vince a little heated about what he had said and said, "Damn it, from then on, I need to know what every single talent is going to be saying out there." That was in Madison Square Garden with lots of corporate sponsors, and when he said that he has made virgins bleed, there was a noticeable shift in the amount of approval process growing from that point. With McMahon gone, it's been reported that WWE is doing away with heavily scripted promos, and the superstars have certainly seemed more passionate on the mic as of late. This is just one of several changes made since McMahon's retirement, but for fans who hated scripted promos, you have Ric Flair to blame. And we're ending today with Ric's daughter Charlotte Flair, who was at one time best friends with Becky Lynch, but that was a very long time ago. Nowadays, the pair are very distant after a series of fallings out over several years, and now the two are far from friends. In a video to promote her upcoming appearance on the Broken Skull Sessions, Flair was asked to give one word about her former friend and had some interesting verbiage. Asked to describe Lynch in one word, Flair said character, seemingly implying that the person fans see is far from the real Becky Lynch. Flair had far more complimentary things for other superstars, calling Lita teacher, Liv Morgan the future, and Ronda Rousey legit, but it's clear that she and Lynch are still nowhere close to making amends. Well guys, that's our news for today. Please share your comments below. Also hit the like button, subscribe to our channel, and hit the bell icon to receive all notifications. And as always, thanks for watching.